everyone, welcome back to my channel, Life Under Deborah's Palm, where today I thought I would get all radical and offer us something that I don't think we ever get offered, and that's hope. So let me first start out by saying, of course, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nutritionist, I just read a lot on things that are related to dementia issues and kind of follow along with what the medical community says. So that's what I'm going to do today, and it's going to be kind of an overview. So if there is something that you find interesting that you would like me to expand on and kind of make a video about something more in depth, please leave it in the comments below and I will get to that. So here's kind of how this happened. I was watching a guy named Dr. Mark Hyman. He's been around for years. I read one of his books probably 10 years ago, and he is what's called a functional medicine guy. Those functional medicine doctors are more into how do you prevent sickness to begin with than, hey, you've got diabetes, let me just give you 65 different medications. They look at it like, how do we cure it? A lot of things are on the end of our fork, and that's really the truth. So I still watch his stuff once in a while, and I happen to catch him on YouTube on Tucker Carlson's show, and there's a timestamp on it so you can listen to this part for yourself, and I'll leave the link below. On this podcast thingy they were doing, as they're talking about food and food-related illnesses and things, Dr. Hyman makes the following comment. Dementia or Alzheimer's, I don't remember which word he used, but he says, it's reversible. Well, that piqued my interest because no one's ever told us it's reversible, and I'm not really 100% sure it's reversible. I don't know. I haven't done enough looking at it, but the studies are out there and I am not done looking at them, and I'm going to put another couple up here in the next few weeks. But that was enough to pique my interest for sure. He was explaining to Tucker that there's a guy out there named Dr. Richard Isaacson. He once had a place in New York, now he is in Boca Raton, Florida. And this guy looks at kind of the preventative side of Alzheimer's, like what's causing it to begin with and how do we stop it, not how do we cure it. You're better off to not get the disease than to try to cure it. And it led me to an article that I will again link below, and it was written in, I think it was last spring or summer 2024, and it follows a guy that is in one of his test groups. I think he's like number 34, but they give his name. The guy had all sorts of issues. He had genetic markers, the APOE4 genetic marker. He had 2 of them. If you carry that gene, and I know some of you have said this in the comments that you carry that gene, it's not a death sentence. It's not a guarantee that you will get the disease, but there are things you can do to prevent the disease. You do have a higher risk factor, but it doesn't mean you're going to get it. There's a little hope for you, but you may have to change things in your lifestyle. That being said, it follows this guy through. I highly recommend you read the article. It's pretty long, but the guy has a lot of things. So he's got genetic markers, he's got some heart issues that are in his family as well, and he also, they draw your blood in this test, and they drew his blood, and he tested for the amyloid and tau proteins, which is what they think gets in your brain and makes the tangles, as they call it. His was 70, and they say between 48 and 100, you've probably got these proteins in your brain, and that's not a good thing. So they put him on a preventative course, and I'm going to read it really quick, and it says, today, scientists around the world are also investigating the impact of cognition on such lifestyle changes, real radical, as a healthy plant-based diet, stress reduction, strength training, aerobic exercise, and quality sleep habits. Behavior that Dr. Isaacson and his team outlined in a recent review published in Nature. I assume Nature is the name of a magazine. He even says it. He said, I don't use the term reverse, even though Dr. Hyman had. He said, I don't know what happens in 5 years. Will something change again, or will they stay the course? He's just not really positive, but these lifestyle changes are what took this guy's blood protein, the amyloids and the tau proteins, from 70 to 25. And this guy also already had plaque in his brain, but he wasn't feeling like, I guess he wasn't having any real effects of it yet. This stuff, it's sad to say, at least here for those of us who live in the United States, our food supply is so bad. It's just so bad. And we eat such garbage that it's making us sick. And Alzheimer's or dementia, I'll say, remember, dementia is the umbrella. The number 1 type of dementia is Alzheimer's. The number 2 type is vascular dementia. But I would highly recommend that you go and read this. So from there, I happened to do another search, and Dr. Hyman came up a podcast that he did in 2022 with a guy, same thing. He's a I think he's a neurologist. And he also is sharing some of the findings with their intervention. And he talks about things that I guess are no longer true. And I'm not saying scientists lie to us as things go on. You know, we can see right down into genomes and all those things now. And they learn new things. I remember being taught that after the age of 20, your brain cells begin to die and they do not regenerate. And this guy said that's absolutely untrue. Your brain will continue to make new cells until the day you die. It will also make new neurons and neural pathways. But there are things that get in there that destroy those things. But our bodies continue to regenerate those. They also went on to talk about something called BDNF. And I'm going to explain it in a second, but it is a brain-derived neurotropic factor. It's protein in our brain. It supports the survival, growth, and differentiation of neurons in the brain. It plays a crucial role in learning, memory, and higher cognitive functions by promoting synaptic plasticity and neurogenesis, regeneration. Here in the United States, our food supply is extremely tainted. We allow 10,000 chemicals in our food. Europe is something like 338. So if you are overseas and you are getting some of our junk food, you are probably getting, I'm pretty sure you're getting a much cleaner version than what we eat here in the US. That stuff is making us sick in ways that I don't know as we really understand, or let me put it this way, as they're willing to let us know. Maybe that's a better way to put it. I don't know. Also in the United States, something that's very popular at the moment is a ketogenic diet. It's a good diet. It's not a bad diet. I don't do it, but I eat pretty clean anyways. But in the keto diet, the point is to get your body into ketosis. Now, intermittent fasting will do the same thing, and intermittent fasting, also a big thing here in the States, is not eating for a window of time. And it could be 12 hours, 16 hours, 18 hours, whatever. But let me read to you what happens. Remember the BDNF part as I read this. So after 10 to 12 hours, glycogen is depleted from your liver and your body begins to use fat reserves as food. That is known as ketosis. Burning fat releases the chemical ketones. In the brain, ketones trigger the release of BDNF, a protein that helps strengthen neurons and neural connections in the areas of the brain responsible for learning and memory. That being said, let me just hit on one thing, because this could go down a rabbit trail. This is its own video. probably more than one video. So I'm going to pick on an artificial sweetener here in the United States called aspartame. Aspartame's been around, I remember it in the 80s, and it might have been here since maybe the early 70s. I have heard that other countries have outlawed it, as they should. That's just my opinion. But let me give you something. This came out of the Swanson Health Journal, was where I got this. 1969. 69. What's that? Like 40, 50 something years ago? Don't make me do math. It's 56 years ago, thereabouts. Studies done by Dr. Harry Weissman in 1969 were deleted when aspartame was first submitted to the FDA. If you are not in the United States, the FDA is our Food and Drug Administration. They approve what can and cannot go in our food supply. His studies showed that after 300 days on aspartame, one of his lab monkeys died, and 5 others had grand mal seizures. Later research revealed that holes developed in the brains of mice fed aspartame. I know the statistic is that if you are diabetic, you are 4 times more likely to end up with some form of dementia. There's probably a lot of factors that go into it, but I look at things like this because a diabetic is more likely to drink something like that has aspartame or some other artificial sweetener in it. And I always think, is it the chicken or the egg? Is the diabetes? We know diabetes is an inflammatory disease, but is it the food that we're eating that's causing the inflammation? It's definitely causing the diabetes. Is it that? I don't know. Like it's a big, I don't know, tangled ball of string to me or something. So where's the hope in this? Well, the hope is there's preventative medicine. For those of us who have on this channel, obviously I'll have family that we're taking care of or we were taking care of with this disease. It's not our death sentence. We can change our lifestyle, our diets, exercise, do all sorts of things to prevent this disease. And if you have someone in the earlier stages, perhaps something even better could happen for you with a complete change in diet and exercise. I can't answer that. I'm not a medical professional, but I will link everything below in the description box, and at the bottom of the CNN article there are a bunch of links you can click on where they talk about clinical trials and lifestyle intervention, and some of it's through the Alzheimer's Association, some is through that guy Dr. Richard Isaacson. They're kind of all over at least the United States. I hope this does give you some hope, and again, if there's something specific that you would like me to maybe dive deeper into, like our food supply and how that's affecting our health and our brain health. There's a lot of things that they know is making a mess in our nation. With that, I'm going to finish up this video, and I hope you all have a great day.